Good morning, everybody, and I feel very privileged to be here among you today, to be the chosen charity who has benefited over 20 years from Crash Charity and the patrons who back it and support it. I've been director of the Kairos Community Trust since 2005. I have worked for the charity, this is my 28th year with Kairos Community Trust, and I can honestly say that the partnership with Crash has made a huge, huge difference to the work which we do. Kairos is a strange word. It's one of two words in Greek for time. The first one is quite obvious, chronos, from which comes chronological, and kairos, the other word in Greek for time, means opportune time, now time, time for change, time for a new start. And that's what Kairos provides, because Kairos works with a very specific sector of homelessness. We work with homeless people with addiction problems. I'm sure that there isn't a person in this room who won't know of or be touched or heard of somebody caught in the horrible, chaotic world of addiction. Very often through no fault of their own, very often from being high-flying to being suddenly grounded and in the gutter. We were founded in 1991 by a Catholic priest from Preston who decided that he was going to live with some of those people in South London, in Clapham, in a place called Stonhouse Street, directly opposite Sainsbury's in Clapham. He lived with men and women homeless because of their addiction. And from that humble start to where we are today, we now still based in South London by and large, but we have some 32 houses in South London with just 3 in North London. We have 6-7 assessments a week for our move-on accommodation because we provide different services which include post-detox stabilization, 2 rehabs, 1 a day rehab and the other a residential, both in the Peckham-Camberwell area of London. And because the majority of our people are homeless, then we provide move-on accommodation post-rehabilitation. Otherwise, the whole effort of rehabilitation becomes pointless. If you go back to your old environment, your old using environment, your old drinking environment, it's a no-win, isn't it? So we provide move-on accommodation, and of move-on accommodation, we have 195 beds. I wonder what the father of that 38-year-old, this is actual, of that 38-year-old felt last week when he delivered his son from rehab to one of our houses in Streatham. Background in scaffolding, driving to a shared house, about to come in to 4 strangers, to a room, to a shared kitchen, to shared toilet facilities and wash facilities. I wonder what that father felt. Of course, what he didn't realize, or maybe he did, was that this was an absolute golden opportunity for his son. Because that room I call the changing room. And it's a changing room for 3 or 4 very basic, essential reasons. It's a changing room because of the support which our magnificent Move On team offer such a person. On the basis of their assessment, which will have been some weeks previous to their move-in, their deepest essential needs are identified, and there is a program of support drawn up with a very individual support plan. And the direction, the trajectory of movement is always towards independence. We don't cul-de-sac anybody into our institution. Sometimes people have been institutionalized enough. And so we will have a support worker in each house who will key work each person according to their needs and nurture them along, having welcomed them into this house to help them develop wings to fly their flight in freedom and in full worth of life. And for the first time, something else a person may experience in a Kairos room in a shared house is a bit of stability, bit of security. Strange that, isn't it? In a shared house, stability at last. And there's counselling offered. And the stranger that person met last week, there are already signs that there's a friendship beginning to emerge with the people in the house, because the whole part of peer identity and peer support is vital. I asked about him yesterday, and I was told that Neil had taken him to an AA meeting last night. Neil is another housemate. I hope I get this right. I didn't, did I? I just want to show you one slide. That's it, yeah. Do you ever remember jotting anything down for somebody? All you could find was a little bit of paper, a bit of cardboard, fact packet. This is a note handed in 2012 to Chris when he was in prison. The John Kitchen Centre, John Kitchen was our founder. The John Kitchen Centre is our post-detox stabilization unit. That was given to Chris in the hope that he might get in touch, no guarantee, He was soon going to come out on probation. He did. He got in touch. I met Chris a couple of days ago. Chris has been sober all that time, for 13 years. He has his own business now in your very trade. He's got married, and he has a house in East Dulwich in London. It works. Spoke to Jason earlier, and Jason was involved with work with us in North London. And our North London houses, there are 3, 16, 18, and 20. 20 beds, all focused to help people coming out of prison and working wonders. And Jason worked there. But Jason let me into a little secret that his 3 passions were fishing, rugby, and classic FM. I've got to know a fisherman very, very well. His name is Dominic. And Dominic was homeless down here in next to Euston Station. There's a church there, and he slept on the steps there for 2 years. He contracted TB there. He was stabbed twice on the streets around about Euston. He was met by an outreach worker, a woman, and the only reason he came to the Kairos store was that he felt sorry for her because she had just been diagnosed with a very serious illness. That was 16 years ago. Dominic is now deputy manager of our CQC regulated care home in Camberwell. And he has 2 sons, and with his eldest son, Freddie, at every half term and every holiday, he goes fishing. Yeah. He'll probably give a better life to Freddie than he ever had himself as a young boy, because he had quite a horrendous childhood. That changing room, and I'm going to finish with this, the changing room. And that's where we've met Crash. What's in a room? There's an awful lot in a room if you don't have one. There's an awful lot in a room if it gives you opportunity. There's an awful lot in a room if it opens up your world and your perspective. And Crash, thank you. Thank you for changing 3 rooms in North London into an 8-bedroomed house. Thank you going back to 2005 when I first met Crash, and we worked on our biggest building in Nunhead, which was 12 bedrooms then, and through Crash's help became our 26-bed post-detox centre. And thanks for transforming the doldrum of a place that was Nunhead Lane into a beautiful 6-bedroomed house, which is now housing our complex needs people, people with mental health problems, people with learning difficulties, women who are experienced domestic violence, etc. So Crash, thank you, and you deserve today. And it's indicative of your work that you've arrived at this point today with such wonderful people. So I thank you for the roofs, the bricks, the blocks, the plasterboard, British gypsum, the boilers from Baxi, the bathrooms, Gibberit, Dulux paint by the bucketfuls, flooring, lighting. You won't remember this one, but you were once, I don't know, was it a patron or not, but MK Lighting gave us some lighting in the early days. Talk about insulation, any amount of it through Crash. Grants, flooring, architects, surveyors, party wall, etc. Furniture. You've helped us hugely. There's a lot that Kairos would never have done without Crash. The Queen Mother's Clothing Guild. Who would have ever thought? Outside of the building. The Queen Mother's Clothing Guild. Every year we visit St. James's Palace, and there's a royal charity which provides clothing and bedding for charities like ours. We provide a wish list. The next day we go down and we collect, and that was by way of introduction from Crash some 16 years ago. Still going well. Eloise, your wash bags at Christmas? The toiletry bags. A toiletry bag for a homeless person is a very special Christmas gift. Thank you. It was mentioned earlier that intention wasn't always met by action delivery. Well, I can assure you that Crash's action delivery always meets its intentions, and very often the intentions of a lot of homeless charities. Crash, you've been immense and you deserve today. Thank you very, very much.